You're tuned into the It's Real podcast with your hosts, Kayla Calendar and Andrew Yagi. Each week, we'll talk about what happens behind the scenes working full-time in real estate and share with you real-life stories, our successes and failures as we work to help consumers and industry professionals reach their real estate and real-life goals. Here we go.
Welcome to the It's Real podcast. I'm Kayla Calendar.
And I'm Andrew.
Where's my partner?
Here I am.
Andy?
Do you see me, Kayla?
I see you now.
Perfect. Little technical glitch on your end, maybe?
Oh, I thought it was your end.
I don't know. Maybe it was. Well, anyway, episode 76, Kayla.
76.
How is your week going?
Going really well. It's been a wild week. Busy week, but it's warming up. And we know when it warms up, we actually see we have neighbors and there's dogs out and there's ducks and it's like everything comes to life. So it's spring is in the air for sure. So yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I would say that definitely it's nice to see all of a sudden everything turning green, to see a flurry of activity out in the fields, a lot of people making a lot of progress. Obviously, we've had some rain showers and raining today, which we've got to have that as well. But no, things are going good. We're kind of seeing things turn the corner a little bit. We had kind of a number of open houses on Ottertail, like the lake we're on, and there was one brokerage that had one, and then a bunch of other agents followed suit. I think there were about 13 open houses this last weekend, so a lot of homes for people to look at. In my mind, it was a little bit early to do a big open house event like that, just because, it's a little bit early in the season. And I think on average, we had probably 3 people come through each property. But hey, you never know when someone is coming and looking to buy. Although I think, just like, most people out there, most consumers, especially if they're looking at a lake property as a second home, they're still kind of, cautious and, maybe not committing, to anything right this second, unless it really makes sense for them.
Right. I have a few clients that are looking right now. When do you think that most lake inventory becomes available? Is it like April, May, or is it at the end of lake season? What do you typically see when you list homes in Lakes Country?
I think we see kind of a burst, right before and around the Memorial Day holiday. And then I think kind of right after the 4th is another big burst because, hey, let's face it, there are people that are out right now and they're like, hey, we know we're done with this, or we've got another plan. Yeah. Let's get it on the market. Let's pass the torch. I've seen some people that have listed their home, around Memorial Day and say, well, we're going to put it on the market, but we don't want to close till Labor Day. A lot of those deals fall apart, Kayla, just because, people get cold feet or they find something else that comes along. So I don't think that's a great strategy, as I've seen time and time again that not work out for people. But then there are a lot of people that say, hey, we're going to enjoy it through the 4th, because Kayla, after the 4th, summer is over, right?
I feel like it is sometimes. It's like gone.
Not for you, though. I mean, I look at like how much you guys use your lake property, and I mean, coming from a farm family, I mean, in a sense it is, because, hey, it's time to get in the field, maybe a few weeks later and start, harvesting grain. But I think it's what you make it and where you want to spend your time and what you want to do. And with the, invariable graduations, weddings, and everything else, it's really hard. There really aren't a ton of solid weekends.
Right. I know. And the thing is in our area, I don't know what it's like in other states, especially down south, or, you think California, Texas, Arizona, but May through August or September is also, like you said like wedding season too. And it's just wild how your weekends fill up. And it's like May is full of, graduations and then weddings. And I feel like you only get a few solid weekends in the summer to enjoy a lake cabin. That's why we love that ours is year round, because we can go in May, we can go, earlier, even if it's cool. And our friends just added on to their cabin, and it's now year round, and they're like, oh my gosh, like this is just such an added value. So it is kind of nice to have that.
Yeah, without a doubt. Kayla, backing up a couple of minutes ago when we started, you said that it's been kind of a wild week. What makes for a wild week in the realm of mortgage lending?
I'm going to talk about this because I talk about it every time. I know you're like, we always talk about this. I'm going to say it. I'm going to clap my hands. Before you look at a house, get pre-approved, because I'm seeing so many clients like emotions, exhaustions. Oh, it's crazy. But
But
that's
Kayla, I just want to look. I mean, I just want to look at the house. Why do I need to be pre-approved? And
I'm still shocked that we're still seeing this. I had a client last week that we wanted to get her pre-approved in February. We told her again and again, and Thursday morning she reaches out to get pre-approved. And we will work quickly, and we did. But sometimes we can't get people pre-approved quickly because we need more data. And when your company changes payroll companies, when you have changes in commission and bonus and overtime, like there are things that we just have to get to give a pre-approval letter with actual strong confidence that we know that this is not going to break. We have to verify things. We have to get in touch. Hey, employer, why is it tracking 50% less this year? Things like that. And so I share this because it is still a problem. And I think that people should enjoy the journey. They should enjoy this and feel good. And so I say it's wild because we've got clients that are making it a little wild, but also I'm still seeing realtors showing homes without clients being pre-approved too. So is that still common, Andy, like in your area?
I would say it is. So, obviously we saw changes in real estate where, you have to have some type of written agreement in place in order to show a home to someone, which that could be as simple as a touring agreement. It can be a non-exclusive agreement or an exclusive buyer representation agreement. The problem is, and, again, like we've talked in the past, the barriers to get into real estate are so extremely low, Kayla.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of very hungry agents. It wasn't long ago that, we shared the stat that, more than 70% of agents last year sold one or fewer home. Mm-hmm. And up until recently, like 90% of agents hadn't sold anything this year.
Wild.
So all of the problems that you're having and the frustrations that you're having, Kayla, you can blame it on realtors. Because they're hungry and they're out there and they're trying to find business and they're rolling the dice. And Kayla, I can totally appreciate that. I think of, in the fall of 20, when I jumped into real estate, not knowing anything. And it was, like, hey, I've got to support my family. I rolled the dice on just about anything or anything that, may have led to a sale. And I've actually found quite a bit of success. But then slowly, I wisened up and I've gotten more and more wise. And Kayla, I've gotten to the point in our business and, like we were talking a little bit ago, just the fact like, Kayla, why don't we work together a little bit more? And the big reason being is that I predominantly, work with sellers and we're really kind of a marketing agency that just happens to sell real estate. We're here to help people reach their goals. And we work with very select buyers. Like just yesterday, I was, running around town a little bit with some new potential physician provider who maybe is going to come to our area. And by the way, Kayla, I was singing the praises of Kayla Calendar and Kayla Calendar Mortgage. And Kayla is the zero down physician loan expert. So I got you. Pass your information along, especially as they were kind of talking about a national bank that I won't name that I just had a client try to use and they totally let everybody down. And it was,
I'm sorry.
But the point is, and really, Kayla, I probably scare a lot of buyers off in my business because, I really will, put the screws to a potential buyer and even people that are close to me. Like I had a friend that called the other day, I think we talked about it last time, and they were talking about, hey, we really want to go look at a property, but did not have a plan in place. There was probably some time, 5 or 6 months until they're going to do something. And I was just frank with them and saying, hey, like, if you want to go work with someone else, like, that's totally fine. But, kind of like you and your individual business, I'm not going to waste your time because my time is extremely valuable. Your time is valuable. I'm going to be jumping on a call in just a little bit with a potential buyer, and we're going to kind of see if I'm the right fit for them or not, and vice versa. But, I share with people all the time that, Kayla, if I work with someone, my clients really deserve my undivided loyalty and priority scheduling as well. And so along those lines, I exclusively serve buyers with whom I have a written representation agreement, and the same goes for sellers because time is valuable.
It is. Are you finding now that you have to have, the signed agreement that you're representing before you show a house, have you had any pushback from clients with that?
Yep, I have. I have seen some people that have. It's been very few. Again, just in keeping the spirit of the fact that I work with more select buyers that I've vetted and that I sit down and try to have a consult with. And I know that's tough for you as a lender, just because people obviously like, hey, we're heat of the battle. We're excited about something. We want something, and if you don't serve us, we're going to find someone that does. And hey, it's the same thing on this end. But I just I'm okay with them not using me.
Yeah.
But I can also work with sellers. You can't exactly work with sellers.
Well, and the truth of the matter is too, it's like, we can be as quick as we can be, but a lot of things are out of our control as a lender when we're pre-approving people sometimes, whether they've got multiple, rental properties, things like that. But also, if we go quickly, and you probably are the same way on your side, if we rush through something. So normally I get my clients on a phone or a Zoom call, and I share all the things that are involved with a mortgage and all the things like, what are closing costs? When can you refi? What impacts rates? There's so much that goes into this. What I find is some clients, if I don't do that, then they'll be like, well, why didn't we talk about this later? And then if you go into it, they're more confident and they understand. And I always share, confident clients make confident decisions. And it's so amazing. The clients that take the time, the clients that really say, I'm going to take an hour, talk to me. They're the ones that are getting the offers accepted. They're the ones that are like, we got this. They're the ones that understand the payment. It's the ones that don't take the time. They get the quick pre-approval and then they get scared. And they're like, well, I don't think I should. So my message is always take the time to just slow down up front, because it's going to pay dividends later.
Yeah. And I say the same thing working with buyers. Like, if we sit down and we get really laser focused on what you're looking for, we make sure you're approved. We talk about the process, 5 or fewer homes, we're going to find you something. If not, we're just kind of aimlessly wandering around. We're, flopping around like a fish out of water. And we're looking at, hey, let's go look at this. Like, boy, and it's a frustrating experience.
Yeah. It's like, do the work, and you wouldn't rush a surgeon. You wouldn't rush, your hairstylist. I wouldn't, but it's just, it's important to slow down.
Yeah, for sure. Kayla, any fun events? Isn't it kind of gala season and some of that for you? Do you have any fun things that you guys are going to?
We did have a gala tonight, but we actually said no because it's my dog's 10th birthday. Ooh. So that's exciting today. Colby turns 10, but no galas this week, but it is the Parade of Homes in Fargo. So we're going to see a lot of, people out shopping, looking. And so that's always that's like the indicator that spring is here. So that's a big event. And then in May is just busy in general from, like we talked about earlier, like graduations and people, getting done with school. And there's just a lot of activity, but the parade is definitely one that we'll see a lot of people out and about this weekend and next.
And how long does the parade run? How many homes? Like, honestly, I've never been. I kind of know a little bit, but I don't know much about it.
Yeah, so it's May 3rd through the 5th and 10th through the 12th. So the times, I'd have to double check the times, but essentially you can visit theparadefm.com. And on there, you're going to be able to find the homes. You're going to be able to, normally they have their pamphlets out at like Hornbucker's, places like that. Thank you for bringing that up. And it's just a really great event that you can just see so many homes at once. So if you can.
Properties by the look of it.
What's that?
53 properties.
Which is a good amount. You can hit up a lot of properties.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to, just get out and see what you like. A lot of people will, they'll do it just to like get ideas for their own homes. So yeah, it's awesome. And then the event magazine is on paradefm.com. So you can see the houses too.
Very cool. We actually should go take a look at it sometime. It'd be fun to, I've never been, and I know there are a lot of great builders that participate, and a lot of good home ideas.
Yeah, it's great. And just to get an idea of what you like. So I know before we built, we did that and just got a vibe of all the builders at once. Sometimes it's a lot of effort to go and meet with every single builder and sit down. So this just gets you a little bit ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kayla, what have rates been doing? I feel like we haven't talked much about rates.
Yeah, rates have improved a little bit this week. Tomorrow, there's data that's coming out, the jobs report's coming out. And we all know that when the jobs report comes out, depending on what that shows, a strong jobs report is not so great for mortgage rates. A weak jobs report is good. So what we see is a little volatility at this time, but the average 30-year fix sits around 6.81. So we're seeing under 7 still, but for a little bit, we saw some uncertainty in the market and rates increased and people were holding tight. Now we've seen a little bit of relief, no major action, but just a little bit of relief. So I even for a little bit in the last 2 weeks had some clients wanting to refi. And I said, let's just give me a week or two. Let's wait to run rates. And sure enough, rates have kind of simmered down a little bit, but there's still North Dakota housing products. There's still options to buy down your rate. When you see rates are at 6%, yes, you can get 6%, but you'll pay for it. But they've just cooled off a little bit, which we like because they were a little spicy there for a couple of weeks. But, the news of the, Trump's tariffs, uncertainty in the market, rightfully so. So yeah, we're seeing a little bit of a pullback.
Sure. And there certainly has been a lot of uncertainty. This particular article, Kayla, talks about a herky-jerky start to the spring buyer season. Although it's not deterring real estate agents, I guess, as you're maybe seeing as they're showing whoever comes through the door a house, maybe even without a pre-approval letter. But this article, Kayla, just kind of talks about, agents and kind of the spring market expecting sales to jump. However, March ended up being one of the worst on record for this particular team that they talked about, and kind of diving into market stats and everything. And, the market then, kind of suddenly rebounded. And I think the market, I think honestly, like herky-jerky is kind of a great way to describe it because it's been, kind of feast or famine or, kind of back and forth.
Yeah. And we've seen, multiple offers now. It's like, if, a lot of people, this is what I've witnessed anyway, is there's a lot of people that want to get through school. They want their kids to finish school, so they're going to wait. It's going to heat up. I really do feel like it's going to heat up this summer. And right now, I think is probably a really ideal time for people to get in before it really gets spicy.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Mm-hmm. Speaking of spicy and getting in now, your good friend Barbara Corcoran agrees with you. Barbara says, now's a great time to get a good deal. And here's why. Seems like we had something from Barbara not long ago, but, she had just talked about, some of the variables, of course, the rates, the tariffs and everything, but then says that despite the current market conditions and their potential impact, it's a good time to invest. Barbara says, Kayla, now is a great time to get a good deal. Why? Because everyone's hesitating. They're worried about everything in the economy and buyers stall when they feel that way. But right now, I'm here to tell you that stall's not going to last for very long. Mm-hmm. I think I've heard someone else say that before, maybe in past episodes, maybe past years.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of pent up energy. There's a lot of clients that I've talked to, Andy, that I looked back. I had one last night. She's like, hey, we're ready to buy again. And I looked back and we pre-approved her July of 2023. And I said, wow, it's almost 2 years. And when you really spell it out for clients and you say, okay, look at what home prices have done. Look at, what you've paid. I mean, think if you're paying $2,000 a month for rent, poof, that's gone in 2 years. You think about that. Clients get a little I can't believe I waited. I thought rates would drop. So now there's just a lot more from what I'm seeing with clients is, okay, we need to do something because we're in the same spot we were 2 years ago, but nothing to show for it. So I'm seeing it on my end.
Yep, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting, but I think the floodgates are going to open. I think it's probably going to be a pretty good year, even though, some have said, hey, this year could be a little bit slower.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think it's, if you can get in now, I mean, right now we're seeing, clients still closing in May. We're still taking applications, taking offers to close in May. You can turn around, clients always ask me, how long does it take to get into a home? Well, it might take you 30 days to find the home, and it could take you 30 days to close on it, depending on the seller. Maybe the seller is building and they want to wait. Maybe you're in a lease and you need to give a 60-day notice. So, I mean, from the moment you get in a contract, I mean, we're seeing, closings in 30 daes. So you can be a homeowner pretty quickly.
For sure. Mm-hmm. I want to highlight some market stats. We haven't covered stats for a little while. And since it's May 1st, happy May Day, by the way.
And Colby's birthday.
And Colby's birthday. Did anyone bring you any May Day baskets this morning? Or are you taking anyone a May Day basket?
Shout out to my colleague, Tyler Toy, who got me an Americano, which apparently has 4 shots of espresso. So that's my May Day. Yep.
So I'm glad we're shooting this now, and maybe not an hour down the road.
Yeah,
If
right.
you're
Like,
working on it right now, you'll be fine
I'll
for
be
that.
really talking about pre-approvals then.
Well, Kayla, I wanted to hit on some market stats. So this is for Fargo, for not the whole Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo area, but for kind of the main Fargo area. Residential number of listings. So we can see new listings, Kayla, are up. Active listings as a whole are up as well. So that continues to climb. List prices overall on active homes for sale have really gone up. So even for those people who said, hey, I'm going to wait, prices are going to come down. I'm going to get a better deal. If you look at active listings a year ago, Kayla, the average price was about 400,000. Now it's up to 440. That's a huge jump, but probably signaling as well that there's quite a bit more new construction that's hitting the market, and or that's just sitting out there as well. When we talk about absorption rate, this is the number of months supply of homes on the market, Kayla. That's ticking up a little bit, so a little over 3 months supply of homes, down from last October when it was a high of about 4.5 months. So a reminder that 6 months supply of homes is a balanced market. Anything less favors sellers. Sold to list price. So again, if a house is $100,000, listed for $100,000, just basically says that people are getting that home for on average about $98,200 or so. So people are still getting a few concessions, although not as many as they maybe were back in January and through the winter. Days on market's falling a little bit too, which also signals to us that the spring market is maybe picking up a little bit, whereas homes were sitting on the market in January for 90 days. Now we're down to about 70, and volume of homes sold close to 200 million. So that's pretty good. In my more immediate market, we're seeing this market's kind of all over the place because we don't have the number of homes, so we're going to see kind of a lot more variation in the stats. But active listings really are almost as high as they have been a long time, so it's good for us to see more inventory. Still not a lot in terms of absorption rate, less than 3 months supply of homes. People still getting better deals. Sold to list ratio about 97%. New homes coming on the market, kind of an average list price a little over 300,000, which is a huge jump, compared to about 270 last year. Days on market anywhere from that 80 to 100 day mark, and about 20 million in sales volume.
I love that. And what I want to talk about though is that 40,000 a little bit. So we're seeing the price of homes be up about $40,000 more. What was that time frame? Was that a year or 2 years?
That was a year ago. So that was,
okay.
Basically year over year, looking at the I'm looking, which one was it here? It was the new median list price. So it's basically saying that the average list price, across the market or across the zip code, a year ago was about 250 some thousand, and now it's up to about 310,000, which is huge.
Yeah. So I just did the math on that, $40,000, and I just used today's interest rate over 30 years impacts your payment about $263. So, when you look at that, paying $40,000, over, that's kind of what we're seeing now. So the cost of waiting, is you're paying more for the property than you would have 2 years ago. So the reason I share that is if people are on the fence, hesitating, like Barbara has said, think of where you'll be in 2 years. Think of, again, we talk about saving, $2,000 a month for rent. That's poof gone. What if you would put that towards your principal? You're paying down your mortgage and you're saving money because you're going to be paying 40 grand next year for that home, according if history repeats itself.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. As we always talk, it'll be interesting to see, how the chips fall, by year end, and, look back and see, what kind of a year it's been. I think it will end up being a good one as I look more and more. Yeah, things are off maybe to a herky-jerky start as we talked, but I think Barbara's right. Strap in. Things are going to get busy.
Get ready. Get pre-approved. And can I just say something else, Andy?
You can say whatever you'd like, Kayla.
It costs nothing to get pre-approved. There's no commitment. All you're out is a little bit of time. You're out time, and that time is going to be well invested. And a pre-approval letter can last up to 4 months. 4 months. So anyway, just wanted to, leave everyone with that. So
I like
See
like it.
espresso kicking in.
Yeah. Well, that and kind of along those lines too, Kayla, the same thing on the agent side. Sit down with an agent, go
Yeah.
visit. I mean, if you have to go visit with a couple of them,
Yeah.
but go find someone that you really like and that you're comfortable with. I've found it. I know you have too, Kayla. I have individuals that come to me and they want to work with me because, hey, I see your video online. It's been a great way for me to kind of get to know you and know your personality. I think you'd be a good fit for me. And I'll find people that say, boy, I know you're not a good fit for me. And hey, that's fine too. Go find your people.
Yeah, go find your tribe is your vibe. Figure it out. Amen.
Good stuff, Kayla. That wraps up episode 76. Have a great weekend and have fun in celebrating Colby's birthday, Kayla.
Oh, I will. Thank you so much. I'll send you pictures and we'll post them next time.
Sounds good. We'll see you.
Okay, bye.